A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. All right, let's do some intentions. You want to read them?
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. I'm a huge fan of the podcast and listen in weekly. Thank you for sharing your advice, expertise, and honesty in every episode. P.S. Congrats on your babies, Jordana. I have followed along with your journey and couldn't be more inspired by your resilience and grace.
Thank you.
Anyway, I had my own gender reveal for my second baby last week. I have a son now. He's 1, and we are going to welcome a little girl next year. We took a video of my husband's son and I finding out the gender while my son revealed the filling inside a cupcake. It was a beautiful moment filled with joy and excitement that I will never forget. I always dreamed of parenting both sexes. However, I cut myself out of the entire video. It is a video of my son and husband, LOL. I did not step into the frame and we were too excited to check if we were all in it. Well, now I'm down a rabbit hole on social media of other lovely over-the-top baby showers and feel completely upset with myself that I, 1, made a mistake with the phone camera, and 2, did not do something grander. Can you please give me an intention to stop comparing and get over the fact that I am not in the video? You do hear me scream and cry quite loudly. So you are in the video.
There you go.
For a note, I have also done this with my wedding. I was totally happy with the day. And then after, when we received our pictures, I could not stop comparing myself to others and feeling horrible about myself. Thank you for your advice. A mama who didn't make the cut, bitch.
I think a lot of people have, social media makes this so much more prevalent. I'm sure this feeling of like, would it be better if it looked better online and I had a worse time?
Totally.
So I think that actually that thought almost does go through a lot of people's heads. I've thought that on like vacations where like I'm in a mood, but I got a great picture, or, if you've ever been kind of like fighting with your boyfriend or your spouse and then you like take a pic together and you look great. And I'm like, I remember having one of those and I was like, I feel weird posting this.
Because you know the reality of that moment.
It was like a bad evening for us.
Totally.
So I think she's got the better deal here, even though it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think she really, I think the experience honestly is more important than the content that you capture around the experience. I really do believe that. I think she probably does too. I had almost like a reverse experience of this. I don't know if I've shared this, but Jeff and I went to Hawaii for our honeymoon. I got this like brand new, it was like a real camera, like a legit, like you wear it around your neck. It's like a whole big thing. And I bought it for the trip. And I was just like obsessed with taking photos on the trip. And they weren't necessarily to share, but I just wanted to, I had been researching like how to capture waterfalls and what settings you do and sunrise. And so we did this like beautiful spiritual experience at like the top of a mountain at sunrise. And there was this Hawaiian woman and she was chanting this like prayer. And I was just like sitting there with my camera, like trying to capture the picture. And then after the thing, he was like, that was the most like beautiful, meaningful, spiritual thing I've ever experienced. And I was like,
what'd she say?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I got a lot of really good pictures and I always like, I don't have a ton of regrets, but oddly, like that's kind of one of them. Like I regretted being so focused on like getting the picture. And in this moment, you were so excited about finding out the gender of your baby that like you didn't step into the frame. And I think I'm glad you're writing in because I think there's going to be so many more opportunities like this in your life where you can allow this fear of this thing happening again to taint all the experiences that you have where you're thinking about the picture instead of thinking about the moment. So I hope that you can push through this discomfort of not having the best content out there on the internet to like post to your friends and prioritizing the fact that you were in the moment, so excited that you just didn't think about it. Like, I think that's a beautiful thing that you were just too excited to even think about it. You were there. It's actually kind of funny and cute that like your voice was the background, but the video was your son and your husband.
And I actually think sometimes when they're like these over the top reveals or baby shower things, it feels like you're really trying to prove something to someone else that has nothing to do with you.
Yes.
So to me, the best nights I've ever had, I have no pictures from, because you're like having too much fun, right? To think about capturing the way it looks for a future you. Like you almost want to capture a few, like you want to, the more pictures you have, that are better. You're almost like, I want to like get something tangible out of this experience. That's fine.
Yes.
But I want something to show for it, because it's like, I'm like not having that much fun. Like I have so many pictures from the most boring nights, and I probably look good in them, but I'm not like, those are the most fun moments. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's what that's a great thing that I have from that night, which in actuality was like fine.
Yeah, I have to oftentimes, like if something's happening and it's so great, I'll like go to reach for my camera, like my phone. And then sometimes I stop myself. I'm like, no, just be in it. Just be in it. Because it does change the dynamic. Like, or I'll be something that's unfolding and I'm like looking at it. Like I have these meta moments where I'm like watching the thing through my phone instead of like the actual thing that's happening. Like, I don't know, like sometimes, for example, like my kids bicker a lot. They don't often show like a ton of like loving affection to one another. So like when it happens, I'm like, oh my God, like grab my camera.
Hold it. Right. Yeah. Save
and
it.
I'm like, sit. And then I'm like watching them interact like through the phone. And I'm like, just shut up and just like be in it. Like just stop. It doesn't make it more real if I catch it on camera.
In fact, it might take away from it, because you're focused on how they're looking in the picture and is it blurry, and you're not living in that moment. I mean, it's funny because like some people were like to me, for our like little reveal, we did like a cupcake thing too. It was just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't like get amazing pictures from it. I think I posted them, but they were like cute enough. But I think but for me, like my whole perspective around that was just like, I was so grateful to be in a place where I could even do that it didn't, like, to me, that was like, it was just so far on the bottom of like the priority of that moment. I was just like, that's like, you know what I mean? The idea that I could have like a pregnancy that got to this point to be like healthy enough that this is like seemingly really happening.
And you're telling people, and it's a review. Yeah. It's going to go online. And yeah.
And I think that, and sometimes, if things are going well, like it seems like she had a great wedding. She gets pregnant easily. And so I think like to almost take a step back and think of like the bigger vision of this. Like you got the gender mix that you wanted. Like that's with you for your whole life. You have a healthy, hopefully, healthy children. Like grand scheme. Like again, we're on a rock.
Totally.
Like, not to minimize what, the thought or the feeling of like, I wish that went better. But I do think if you think about all the things that can go wrong, like this is not a problem.
Right. Yes. I do think the zoom out helps. I mean, and I do wonder if there's a little bit, I've heard this too and experienced it, sort of like the mom is always taking the pictures and like controlling that. And so she's like not in them because she's always taking them. So it's kind of maybe a little bit of like a mortality fear of like, will my baby know that I was there? Like, will they will they have memories and photos of me with them because nobody's, controlling those photos? Like I think that's why moms are usually like, okay, we're taking like the Christmas card photos because I know I'm going to look good. I'm going to be in it with the kids. I'm going to approve it. And it's going to be like stamped in the book. So maybe there is a little bit of just the fear of what does it mean that I wasn't in this? Like, does it mean I wasn't? I mean, you're obviously part of it. You're carrying the baby. You're like, you probably made the cupcake order and like got the note from the doctor and like did the whole thing. If I had to guess.
And like you've said, like a lot of times for women, a little bit more of their identity is centered around this idea of like motherhood. And maybe there's a feeling of like, I'm not in the video and therefore like I'm not celebrating this milestone, which is so big because I'm a woman, in a big enough way, and she's talking about the other baby showers she's seen with like the bells and whistles and all that.
Yes, totally. But you were there, you were so excited, you were crying and, in it. So I validate, but I do like the idea of zoom out. And I can say this because I'm probably older than most of the listeners, certainly older than you. I think like when I look back at my wedding photos, I'm just like, oh my God, you were so young and beautiful. Like, that's what I think when I see myself from almost 20 years ago. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, my arm looked fat, or my dress didn't look right, or I wish the photographer was a bad angle. Like, once you've lived a little bit of life, you're going to look back at all of this and just kind of be like, wow, that was a cool time of life. And hopefully you look back at this and think, I was just so excited that I was like out of the frame, and how funny and cute. And it was awesome when I was in it. So my intention for her is the deep meaning of these moments is in how they were lived, not how they were captured. Because you really can't capture them, like they're in your body, how you experience that moment of finding out you were having a girl. Like, you lived it.
That's a good thing to take to many listeners to any big moments. All right, let's do some triggers. Hi, Dr. Naomi and Jordana. I have a triggered for you and would love your take. I've been married for 18 years with no kids by choice, and I'm a high school teacher. My husband and I usually travel to Europe or the Caribbean during school breaks. I've started to dread when coworkers ask me what I have planned, because it's usually followed by a comment like, oh, you have so much free time to yourself because you don't have kids. Well, you don't have a family, so it must be nice to do those things. Or must be nice to have no responsibilities. I'm an aunt to 9 children. I coach youth sports and I volunteer for local organizations that are important to me. I'm also someone's wife, daughter, sister, niece, etc. Somehow, none of that is recognized by my coworkers being busy enough. Thus, I end up perceiving these remarks as microaggressions and some sort of commentary on my lifestyle. To me, their comments suggest that my choice to not become a parent is selfish and I'm not a serious adult. It's been almost 20 years of working with the same coworkers, and I'm thrilled for those that have children and devastated for the ones who have persisted through fertility issues with no success. My personal choices are not a nag on anyone else's decision to pursue parenthood, and I'm really tired of apologizing for how I want to spend my free time and money. How should I respond to these kinds of intrusive questions and unsolicited commentary? A childless by choice batch.
It's so hard to live in our society. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I was thinking that. Like, these people are trying to compliment her, I think.
Yeah, it's
or like say they're jealous of her, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
If you never get any time to relax, you're just wishing that you had more time to relax. And if you do have time to relax, you're feeling guilty because you think other people are judging the fact that you have time to relax. So it's like...
Lose. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have to just own it. It's almost like thinking of the social media, like, who is your ideal? So when you look at a social media person that you look at online, like, who do you aspire to be? You don't aspire to be the person that's like bags under their eyes, working so hard, like never gets a moment, like spit up all over their shirt, like no date nights, like can't, and you don't. And then you feel like it's not okay to aspire to be the person that's like traveling to Europe and the Caribbean and like relaxing on the beach alone with your partner. Like, I think that's pretty cool. I think you just have to own it.
I don't think it's said as like a shaming thing, like you're not an adult or like grow up or you're not busy. It doesn't seem like that to me. It seems like a comment that, I think this is a comment I would make to someone to be like, or it has been made to me. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice perk. Yeah, that is like pretty great that I can go away, not on school vacation. I mean, she can, but for me, I'm like, it's great. I don't have to go away during school break. It's cheaper.
Right. Yes. Yeah. There's something that feels like
it's so nice to be able to travel with no notice or something. Right. I don't know. I don't think that's like a negative.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to invalidate. I could see how someone's like, I guess it really depends also on the tone. like how they're saying it matters. But if you're saying something like, well, you don't have a family, so it must be nice to do those things. Like
that's a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say if that's literally what they said, but it probably is coming from a little bit of a place of jealousy, perhaps. And I do think there is this weird martyr culture that like you have to have just the right amount of suffering to be virtuous enough. Like if you were, the principal of the school and you were answering emails while you were in the Caribbean, would that make you good enough? Like if you, I don't know, broke your leg and you were hobbling around the resort on crutches, would that be more virtuous? Like how much suffering would you need to have to make you feel, and I get it. I don't think it's her misinterpreting this. I do think there is a reality to that it's just a little jealousy of like, someone who has it too easy can't be working hard enough to have someone just say, wow, good for them.
But she must feel an element of insecurity about that, or those comments wouldn't really bother her. Like if she truly felt like she was regarded as an adult, or she does feel like people think she doesn't do enough or something, or isn't suffering. Like, I don't know. I just feel like if those comments were made to me, I don't think I would see them as like an attack on my life decisions or where I was.
And I wonder, like, even with like fertility stuff, if someone said, well, you don't have kids, so it must be nice to travel so much.
I'd be like, oh yeah, I sometimes forget about that as like a nice part of it. Or I might think like, I wish like I would give it up if I could.
Right. I think it is because you were trying for it. I think it's almost, maybe it is an insecurity for you that like, I do think some people that choose not to have kids, it feels like, is this selfish? Because it almost seems like society is built for people that are having these like nuclear families. So like if I didn't want kids, I guess
it might be more offensive if you didn't want them.
I mean, I honestly, I agree with you. I don't think it's offensive. I think it probably is a combination of her own, like, am I selfish that I'm not doing this really hard thing that you guys all seem to do that makes your life much, much harder that I have like no desire to do? Like, what's the catch?
Right. How do you think she should respond if she doesn't like?
I think she should own it. I think you should be like, yeah, it's really nice. I see how hard it is with kids.
No regrets.
Yeah, it's awesome that, that's one of the reasons why I made this choice. I would just own it.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to like say how busy she is. I don't think that's really, and again, all these comments are about the people saying them. They're not about you. But someone who's like knee deep in like 2 little kids sees you going to Europe for spring break. They're not like she should be. If they're thinking she should be working harder, then they're jealous. If they're thinking like,
well, the must be nice is like a passive aggressive comment. I get it. Own it. Don't let it make you feel away. This is why you chose not to have kids, so that you can go to Europe with you and your partner and your 2 bags, and off you go.
Maybe she wants to hear like, have the best time. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone says to anyone when they're going on vacation. No one's like, I need to like pep this person up because they're taking a trip to Europe and they need my support.
I hear you. I do. I get how she feels. Everything is very like, 2 parents and kids centric. It's like nuclear family centric. I could see how she might feel like others feel like she's not doing enough. Don't listen to it. Own it. You made this choice for a reason. I totally respect it. And you do. I'm sure there are many things that make it harder not to be part of the crowd in this way or feel left out of certain things. And one of them is that you get to enjoy these relaxing vacations. So I would just own it. I think the comment was weird, especially the like, must be nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's never
I could see it sounding a little passive aggressive, but the more passive aggressive sounds, the more I would just be like, that person needs a vacation.
Yes.
Like that person is very jealous of me. It's like a little bitter, It's like anyone who says anything like that.
But that just reminds you why you didn't have kids. So you don't end up like this person who's bitter and jealous of other people going on vacation. Yeah. Or like, oh, they talked about how at the end of their life, they're going to like have their kids to take care of them or something. And you were like, oh, well, I'm not really going to have that. Like, you might feel a little jealous, or like there's pros and cons to both. And this is one of the pros. So bask in it.
Oh, I'd give it a 3.
I agree with the 3. Depends on the tone, but like, yeah, I think nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. People are jealous.
All right, here we go. One more. Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Love you both on the pod. I'll keep this short and sweet. My sister-in-law became a mom in 2025, and her holiday card was all about becoming a new parent. She signed the card, wishing you a happy holiday from the luckiest parents around. I instantly felt so triggered because I've been trying to get pregnant and dealing with infertility for the past 15 months. She also dealt with infertility, but got pregnant relatively quickly after starting to see a reproductive endocrinologist. Something about the superlative use of the word luckiest instead of another word conveying gratitude really triggered me. This couple also cares a lot about appearances, likes for everything in their life to appear perfect, which is not my style. Maybe that's part of my trigger. What do you think? How triggered can I be? A triggeredist batch.
I'm not really fully getting why this one is triggering. I think it's triggering to here's the thing. I will validate it's triggering to receive a holiday card from a new parent when you are trying to become a new parent, and that is the focus of the thing, and people look so happy and they look like they're glowing and they have the family around the holidays that you've always wanted. And I can relate to feeling triggered by that, but I don't think that means anyone's done anything wrong.
Yeah, there's something that seems like she's stuck on the luckiest. Like if she wrote like the most grateful parents ever, that seems like that wouldn't trigger her. It almost sounds like a superstitious. Like if you're the luckiest, then I can't be right. Then right. I can't be the luckiest, which maybe means like, does that mean I'm not going to get pregnant because like you're the luckiest?
You've already claimed that.
Right. And maybe it is some kind of a superstitious thing about that word.
Maybe. I feel like she is just trying to express like gratitude, like to say I'm the it's not she was like I'm from the most fertile parents in the world. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's like a little bit of humility in saying like I got here because of luck. I'm very lucky to I guess grateful maybe would be a better word, from the most grateful parents I don't know. I think that person's just like, if they went through it a little bit, they're just like really happy to be there. And that's hard to see. It's hard to see someone celebrating. And this is kind of like, it's like you've been trying, if you were trying for a promotion and then someone sent out a card with like, from the like luckiest promoted, like best, with who has the best job in the world, who got that who got it instead of you. It's hard because it is like with kids stuff, you do see it kind of like flashed in your face, and that's what people are posting online all the time. And around the holidays, it's all the cards you're getting, or it's usually not to a childless couple sending out a holiday card. It's just usually not what you see, and it can feel bad. I can validate that, but the wording to me, I just don't know how else she could have put it.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the wording. I know that she's saying that it's like the wording that's bothering her. I think it's just, I don't know. I'm sure it's just triggering just to get the card. I think these holiday cards are triggering in general for a lot of people. Like someone who's going through a divorce, these cards are very triggering. Like we did this last year, and this year the card looks different. Or
if you're single.
Yeah. If you're single, these cards can be, it's almost like here in your mailbox is like our picture, it's almost like what we talked about, the most picture perfect version of my life. And I look great. Everyone looks their best. We're all smiling. Here's the perfect version of us to make you feel as insecure as possible if you don't have this. And I know that's not the intention, but I think it can feel like that.
Right, because they're like literally the definition of something that's curated and sent out to like show everyone. I've always thought they were like the height of functionality for a family. Like we have our shit together enough to send out this card.
Yeah,
we have like
all the envelopes, like
we're wearing
stamps.
Coordinated outfits. I got it. Like I must be doing something okay in life if I was able to
have the time and energy to get this done
and create this like, you know, societal version of like what success looks like. And I'm sure any families whose holiday card is even more chaotic looking or not coordinated or just kind of like pictures thrown together, even those people might feel a little triggered by the perfect family portrait that they're getting. So
yeah, I validate the trigger on like getting the card of your friend who just had the baby when you're really trying. I totally get that. The word itself, unless it's like a superstitious thing, I don't get it. Maybe tell us more if we're not seeing something outside of just the card itself. But yeah, I think I'm torn on the holiday cards. I think it's beautiful. You could do it. It's a way to stay in touch and let people know kind of what's going on. But as a psychologist, I hear a lot of people on the other side that find these cards triggering.
Right. Well, you are marketing the family. You're like,
and for some reason, it isn't really like, I think if it was more like people were sending out just pictures of themselves doing their favorite hobbies or whatever, like single people or, you know, maybe a divorced family that was it's almost like it's really geared very much towards like this picture perfect nuclear family.
It feels a little dated in that way almost.
Yes, totally. And no, I like getting them. I'm happy to receive them. I'm not hating on the.
Yeah, I think they're cute.
Christmas cards, they're cute, but for those people that don't have it exactly that way, where our society, as we talked about, is already so geared towards like this nuclear family. I don't know that we need another thing that's like really geared towards this perfect little nuclear family. But
the thing I like most about the holiday cards is I feel like it's nice to get one, but there's no expectation to get one.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like, oh, this is cute. Like here's a cute picture.
Pleasant little surprise in the mail.
But I think it's easier to get them now than it was in years past for me. So I can validate even just feeling like if I had a family, I don't have my shit together enough to coordinate the thing.
I've literally never done Christmas cards, holiday cards.
But listen, that person, they're good at that. That's okay. Just because like you're not good at something doesn't mean someone else can't be. But again, like I think the word, I think it's a 4 out of 10 to get a holiday card of a new parent basking in the glow of new parenthood when you're deep in the trenches of it. I would call that a 4. The use of the word lucky, I would give that like a 1 or a 2. I don't think that part is triggering.
Yeah, I agree.
We did it.
If you guys have any follow-ups, let us know. Always happy to hear feedback if we got it right, if we got it wrong. But yeah, that's our time.